Hi again, everybody. I'm Rob Rosenthal with AskTheLawyers.com, and this is another episode of Ask the Lawyers. When our men and women of the military put their lives on the line for our country, we like to think we're giving them the best equipment to keep them as protected as possible. Well, it has recently come to light that this hasn't always been the case, and when it comes to protecting their hearing specifically. Today we're going to ask the lawyer about the 3M earplugs that were supposed to protect the ears of our U.S. military and what seems to have gone wrong. And here to answer our questions is attorney Merrida Coxwell, managing partner of Coxwell Associates based in Jackson, Mississippi. Merrida, thank you for taking some time to be with us today. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here again.
So let's do a little background. What is the issue with the 3M earplugs and as it relates to our military servicemen and women?
Well, it's a long story, so I'm going to try to make it short. Some lawyers discovered through a separate lawsuit, and this is our allegation, that earplugs that were being sold by a company called Arrow and later by 3M were not designed and were not effective to protect American servicemen and women from injuries from loud, steady noise or impulse noise. And that's like if you're sitting in a tank and you got those huge turbines whining, you need earplugs in there. That's loud, steady noise. Or high impulse noise or the guns shooting. And the company actually entered into a consent decree, Arrow and 3M, with the government in July of 2018, where they, of course, didn't admit liability, but they paid a large, what we call a ketam, a whistleblower fine. And when a group of lawyers discovered that, they started looking into it. And that's where we started discovering that men and women who've served in the military have suffered hearing loss or now have what doctors call tinnitus, but most people call tinnitus as a result of these earplugs. And that's the basis of these lawsuits.
Now, these earplugs were used during a certain period of time, right?
They were. From what we know so far, and we're gathering, when I say we, the 100 or so lawyers that are in our litigation group, they were in service between 2003 and 2015. I believe that we're going to find some of them staggering in service beyond 2015, but we know those dates for sure. And that is the criteria that our office and most of the other offices are using to screen potential clients.
Can you describe the earplugs themselves? Were they distinctive looking? Is it a specific type?
Well, I could, if you want me to bend out of the camera for a second, I'll show you a pair.
Okay.
You okay?
Sure.
I have a pair here. They were given to the services in different forms. And, you know, I'm looking at the camera, so I can't quite tell. And I'm going to hold them up, and you can tell me if I've got them in the screen right.
Okay.
They were the only dual-ended earplugs. And by dual-ended, I'm going to show you what I mean. This is a pair.
Okay.
Can you see those well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, one side was for steady noise, and it would block out, allegedly, all high, steady noise. The other side was designed to allow you to hear, for example, the enemy encroaching on you or commands from your officer or from other soldiers, but yet it was supposed to stop high impulse noise. And our allegations are that it did not do that and they were defective. There are a number of theories in the lawsuit, quite a few lawsuits filed around the country, but those are just in a nutshell allegations.
And is the allegation, Merrida, that 3M was aware these earplugs were defective at the time?
Well, it started with a company called Arrow, an Indiana company, and then 3M took them over. And yes, the allegations are that both companies were aware of the problems with these earplugs, but yet put them into the stream of commerce or into the market, into the hands of our men and women that serve in the military, knowing this, the condition of the earplugs.
You mentioned the payment that 3M made to the government. Has any of that gone to veterans?
No. That's a really good point you bring up, because I've actually seen some very, what's the way to put it, ads that are not very truthful to the men and women who served, that was simply a payment to the United States government, and none of that money will go to men or women in the military. That was a payment to the government. But the release that the government had with these companies left open the right of any third party to prove a damage case if they were injured. Now, that's not to say there won't be defenses. I fully anticipate, as in every case, these companies will fight tooth and nail. But the window was left open for our military men and women and veterans to file an independent legal action if they believe they were harmed by these earplugs.
Now, I understand you are already, you've already had some members of the military that you are representing. Where do things stand right now? Are we talking about this maybe years down the road? What do you think?
Well, I'm doing a lot of prognosticating right now.
Sure.
But there is a MDL, that's Multi-District Litigation Court, and that's before Judge Casey Rogers in Pensacola. And that MDL is just now getting moving. Leadership has not been appointed yet. The thing about Judge Rogers, she seems to be incredibly fair, succinct, and I believe just from watching her, I've been down for all the court proceedings so far, that it is her intent to let the parties, the plaintiffs and the defendants, try this case and to do it efficiently and rapidly. So this is going to be a large MDL, but I believe it's going to be a fast MDL.
But it is not too late for someone who thinks they might have been affected or maybe had a loved one who was affected. It's not too late for them to contact your firm and get involved in this, correct?
No, absolutely not. We get on the average of 4 to 6 new calls a day. I don't think I'm exaggerating to say we get 4 to 6 calls a day. Over the weekend, we'll have as many as 15 calls that we'll have to return those calls.
And there's no cost to call and find out if they are eligible and to find out, get more information from you?
No. I mean, these will all be done on a contingency. We recognize the servicemen and women, have suffered enough. They'll have to be done on a contingency. Nobody could afford this on an hourly basis.
What if a veteran has already received disability because of hearing loss or another injury that maybe is because of the earplugs, and maybe they didn't realize it was because of the earplugs? Can they still take part in this suit?
Yes, this will not affect a VA disability that is granted to them. We have a lot of soldiers that have a 10% disability due to tinnitus and some due to hearing loss, and filing a lawsuit, winning that lawsuit, or eventually participating in a settlement will not, and I want to underline, bold, italicize, will not affect that VA disability. We've already had a team of 7 lawyers research that. We even hired a company whose sole job is to work on lien resolution and determine all those issues, give us an opinion letter on that. It will not affect VA disability.
Why is this case so important to you?
I guess to me, I've been involved in a lot of multi-district litigation, but I've also now talked to over 50 of the men and women who served our country. And all of the stories are, they're salt of the earth people. The stories are very heartwarming and touching about serving our country, and soldiers that have, been in the service, some of them for 15 years, some of them only for a couple of years, but they all willingly volunteered to go over in the fight against terrorism. And it's just, I have not been as enthusiastic and excited and had my heart in the litigation as much as I am in this one in quite a while. I've been in a lot of them that I've been eager and aggressive in, but listening to these men and women is just, listening to their stories is just amazing.
Merrida, thank you for your time today. I appreciate you making some time for us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And that's going to do it for this episode of Ask the Lawyers. My guest has been attorney Merrida Coxwell of Coxwell Associates based in Jackson, Mississippi. Please take a second, click on the button at the bottom of the screen, and so you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want more information about the Defective 3M earplugs for the military, or you're ready to choose a lawyer that lawyers choose, make sure to visit askthelawyer.com. I'm Rob Rosenthal for askthelawyer.com.